Let's make sure that's true. It is. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
The legendary Sir Dan is back. The undead can run, but they can't hide. Rated T for teens.
PlayStation.
Jeez, that commercial went hard.
Yeah, boy. In your face!
Take that, MediEvil. Hey everybody, welcome back to Play Retro. Yeah, that's right, this is Play Retro. I'm one of your hosts, Scott Johnson, and I'm a skeleton man, and I have big plans for my skeletal life moving forward. I might be a little jittery and flickery, but that does not mean I won't be kicking A and taking names.
Ooh, taking some names, are ya? And I'm your other host, Brian Dunaway, and I'm ready to hack and slash my way to early 3D gaming glory, even if it means ripping my arm out of my reanimated skeletal remains and beating up the local MediEvil zombie townfolk like some kind of nightmare before Christmas. Ding dong, the Dan is dead. Yeah.
Nice.
Ding dong, the Dan is dead.
The Dan is dead. We're here to talk about MediEvil, which I think is how you say it. I still am not entirely positive. Because it's not medieval.
I'm going to go with MediEvil because we could say, well, it's kind of one of those things where it shouldn't be medieval, but it is because it's a play on medieval.
Right.
But the eval part is different and medieval, right? Because it says evil, like EVIL.
Yeah, and they separate it with a capital E, so they make like a
medieval.
Yeah,
that's not going to work.
No,
medieval. That's
no.
weird.
It sounds like sounds like a healthcare biotech company, doesn't it? MediEvil.
If you're allergic to medieval,
here at MediEvil, we believe the patient is always right, and we've heard you.
Yeah.
And we've. I hate when any company, like usually it's gaming companies that go, gamers, we heard you. I cannot stand that pandering. I hate it so bad because you haven't heard us. You just have had to make a change so that nobody revolts and your shareholders don't take a piss. That's why you say it.
Right.
Jerks.
That's why you say that.
Every time you hear that, red flag. Every time.
Giving me the business.
That's right. Anyway, we're going to get right to it. But before we do, a little something to share. I'd like to review something live on the air here.
Oh, something to
before
share
you
on the air.
A lime green. It's not really lime. What do they call it? Field green. Field green controller from the 8-Bit Do people. And the reason I got this is my wired controller was giving me beef that I've had for years. And I wanted a replacement. And I was looking for a good wired one. I was like, hey, those guys have those. I do like 8-Bit Do a lot. And they make modern, layouts and stuff. This is basically, your typical Xbox style layout with your XY, your all that.
You got it in your hand. Oh, I was looking at the Amazon page and I wasn't looking. So yeah, you got it in your hand.
Yeah, I got it right here.
So it is right. So I thought, so it looks. I can't decide. Is that more in the lines with like the Switch Pro shape? I mean, it's definitely the the 360 style too, but it looks like it's a little more shaped like the Nintendo Pro controller.
I would say
it's.
That's actually fair. I think you're probably right. It's got a shape
close.
like that. Here's a better shot of it in somebody's hands. This actually makes it seem giant because the woman they're having hold these hands has clearly very small hands. Because look at the difference between that and me holding it. Like,
isn't that typical? If you
look at
need
these
something to be bigger,
hands.
Put it in a woman with small hands, right?
Exactly.
That's
but
what you do.
Very, very pleased with this controller. I like it a lot. The D-pad is fantastic. The sticks have great snap. Great controller. Not surprising. 8-Bit Do makes good stuff. Here's the surprising part, though.
Surprise me.
This is on sale for $16.99 right now.
That is now. Did you pay $16.95 or did you get suckered? Did you miss
no,
it?
I got this deal. I paid this price, $16.99. Normal price is only $20 though, and most controllers that are capable of this, what this thing is, you're looking at at least 29 plus. So it's already cheap, but I didn't expect it to be that cheap. So for $16 measly dollars, this thing showed up, free shipping, and I've been using it like crazy, and it's freaking great. I love it.
What is the color again? What's it called?
They call
Field green.
Field green. I would actually call it almost like a key lime pie green.
I want to say looks more like when you slice into a good key lime pie. I'm with you because it's more mint, right? It's got like that nice light shade on the mostly controller, but then all the the components, like like you said, the D-pad and everything is like this little darker. That looks like the field green part.
Yeah, and they've got these others.
the
Here's
D-pad,
this purple business. They call it lilac purple.
They call it the purple business.
It's pretty cool. I kind of like it. There's this one with orange, kind of an orange accent. It's a little too. It's a little too like, hey, baby's first controller looking color wise. I'm not a huge fan of that.
Yeah, baby's first controller. That's perfect.
But this orange one is pretty cool. They all look like desserts though, and I don't know why they're so cheap.
Do.
I don't even think these are necessarily aimed at kids. I don't act like it in the advertising. Yeah. But I really like it. Now they have these exact same controllers that are wireless as well, but those are all $29. If you are looking to do like a PC controller, you don't care about wireless, which is what I'm dealing with, then I think the wired one is great, and you're only going to pay $16.99 for the thing.
I mean, it's got 1,000 hertz polling rate, and it's got Hall effect joysticks. That is insane. That the controllers have become so, I don't know, just that they can just make something. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's just crazy.
It is crazy. It is crazy because remember way back in the day, our options were you bought a N64 controller, or you got your ass up, went to a GameStop or something, and bought Mad Catz piece of crap plastic poopy. Right? There was no other third-party options really, and there's so many now. It's amazing.
Yeah. We still haven't done our Mad Catz episode. We've got to do one.
Do we?
I mean, Mad Catz. It changed everything.
Did it?
I mean, first party controllers were just ridiculous. And then Mad Catz came along and said, yeah, we can do that. Not a problem.
Yeah, but then it broke 5 days after you bought it. I mean, Mad Catz was trash.
I know, but it's like this. Mad Catz had the design down pat. Like you could get a Mad Catz and I would see those things and be like, this is some really cool design. They just didn't have the deep pockets to do the long-term research of, will it hold up?
Yeah.
Which is what you do with first party controllers. You got to make sure that it's, will the user be able to not break this? Mad Catz was like, we're mad. We're going to make something cool looking and it'll probably break.
We're mad. We like cats and we're here. Look at this thing. You can buy this for still. You want to get this thing here, this 360 stick unit? Look at that thing. Do you see that?
That's when I saw that one. I love that 366.
I mean,
stick.
I like it from a goofball standpoint, but I ain't paying $100 for that thing. Forget it.
Well, you're a goofball. So
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's got goofball quality. Like this looks like a big dumb idea. But Mad Catz still makes mice and all kinds of other stuff. They're still around. It's just they're not known for their quality is all I'm getting at. Right.
For the listener, it looks like somebody deconstructed an Xbox 360 controller and then stuck like an Atari controller in the middle of it. Like you're not in the middle. I mean, actually to the top left side. So imagine, if you will, someone deconstructing a 360 controller and then putting like an Atari joystick in the top left-hand corner.
Yeah, that's basically it.
You are mad.
Yeah, you are mad. The mad wasn't them being angry. It was them being crazy is what they meant. Anyway, I really like it.
Z, right?
This is, again, the 8-bit Do Ultimate C wired controller, they call it. And
right,
I love it. It fits great in my hands. Perfect size. My favorite thing is the sticks. They just feel good. These maybe feel better than any other sticks I have. I don't have too many sticks that feel this good. This feels great.
It feels pretty good, right? So is that a Hall effect? Maybe you think?
Maybe that might be it. I mean, they just they don't have any. They don't have any like flip back dead zone crap going on. I have issues like that with like my Elite controller is way too sensitive with those things. This is better than that.
Elite.
And the buttons aren't loud. They're not like, you can hear this if I'm pounding on it, but it's not like clicky. It's pretty soft. And it looks like a piece of pie you could eat. So there you go.
Looks like a piece of pie. I gotta eat it.
Y'all want a piece of pie? Anyway, highly recommend it. It's also reviewed well on Amazon. Go check it out. Brian, what'd you get up to for retro this week?
Doing the same thing you're doing, which is looking for things for my holiday gamers for myself, because people always ask me, it's like, hey, Brian, or Dad usually, hey, Dad, what do you want for Christmas? And I'm like, well, I don't want you to give me anything too big. But so I start looking around for little $20 things here and there, like on Amazon. So that was actually a really good shopping tip for a retro gamer. I did the same thing. I was looking at several things. A couple of things I'm disappointed in, because they always do this right around Christmas. They go, hey, look, we got some stuff. It's pre-order. And it'll be out in February. I'm like, I want it now. And they're like, hey, don't worry. You go ahead and order it now. And just like when you were a kid in that first year, when they hadn't gotten those Star Wars characters ready, you could buy a little card. Remember that? Did you get the card for the Star Wars toys before they came out that first Christmas?
From Kenner, whatever it was at the time?
Yeah. What a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, it seems like a bit of a
Christmas,
scam.
yay! Yeah. What the hell is this?
Yeah.
It's a promise.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
It's an IOU.
I don't want your promises.
Yeah.
It's an IOU. It's a Star Wars IOU. Anyway, there's a 8-Bit Do in the same line. Let's go ahead and talk about that real quick. I put a link in the show notes for the 8-Bit Do website. They just announced this 8-Bit Do Xbox keyboard. Like I need another, but I can't stop.
I like this.
It is this. Yeah, it's that Xbox translucent green, and it's got the arrow keys are those really rich colored, those gold and red and green and blue on the buttons. You got all of that on the keys, and also they have a rechargeable mouse and a docking station. And man, it looks great. And for some reason they always include the big two giant. What is it? The easy buttons? Like, talking about the big giant
the two
buttons.
I don't know why those are there. Why do they always include those?
They're programmable. It's their thing, right? Every keyboard that you get from 8-Bit Do comes with these two giant programmable buttons. And usually it comes with stickers you can put on there. But this is the first one that I've seen that they've done all mechanical keyboards. Yeah. This is the first one I've seen 8-Bit Do that has the backlit keyboard. So this one's translucent and it's got a bunch of backlighting in it. Yeah,
it programmable too.
Fantastic.
Yeah, program the waves and all that. I also noticed that they made their arrow keys the colors of the face buttons on your Xbox controller. So,
yes, they do. Now, see, I've already got like 3 of their keyboards and stuff. So here first of all, it is so mechanically clicky clacky and it's so good. I've got the Commodore 64 version.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the Commodore 64 version. And man, I love it to death. I also have the NES version. There's a Famicom version. And all of them, like about middle ways through this year, they decided instead of doing the short boards, this is not a super short board, but it was like 108 key or whatever it is. It doesn't include all the numeric keypad and all that. They started selling the full size, but at the same time, they started selling the darn little side calculator thing that you got that goes with it. So anyway,
oh man, you bought them all. You got all that stuff.
I was really pissed because I got this regular keyboard, then it came out with the full size keyboard, and I was like, I should have waited. And so I'm worried about the same thing happening on the Xbox things. Pre-order. So if I ask for it for Christmas, I'm just getting a card, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You are. That's probably what you're going to get. A little wait for card, a little IOU card.
By the way, I apparently had that plugged in and I totally blitzed your show notes. There we go. Got it. Undo. Anyway, but yeah, if you have a gamer in your life or just someone who loves keyboards, I'm telling you, the 8-Bit Do keyboards are great. If you have the patience to wait for the Xbox one, I definitely would. But the ones that are already out there now, like I think they're like $89 or something, which is not terrible for a mechanical keyboard. I've enjoyed mine so far. I use it every day.
I love these guys. I really truly do. They got something for everybody. Retro, modern, prices are great. Like I'm never not
Did
impressed
we mention
with
that we get nothing from 8-Bit Do?
Oh, zero.
These are just
nothing.
Are just
I mean, if they want to reach out, but as far as I know, we don't get nothing from them. It'd be interesting for them for them to get into the handheld retro market just to see what that would be like from them. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it would be like, but I would be curious what their entry might look like. Speaking of which, Amerdic has a new controller and I want to try it. I saw it on TikTok shops or some shit and I didn't realize they were doing that. And I don't think I saw it. Oh, maybe it's on Amazon now. Let's see.
Holiday shoppers, tell us what you're looking for this holiday season. We're going into the controller and keyboard area for me and Scott right now. That's our passion.
I love these things. I can't explain why I want more controllers. I don't need them. I really don't.
No.
But here we are. Here we are living that life. Well,
like I said, so this is an argument we have every year. As you age, as you get older, Christmas becomes, for those who are not capitalist pigs like me, you may not realize the absolute joy that is shopping for loved ones and trying to, unlock. Did I get it? Did I shop for something? Did I get something really good? Are they going to open their present and be, and just smile? And am I going to just, am I going to nail it this year? It is the most wonderful gift that we can give ourselves is to be able to buy something for somebody else and for it to land, right? Unfortunately, my significant other, she's like, I don't like gifts. So she's like, I don't want anything. And I'm like
that
not
too.
robbing yourself. You're not robbing yourself.
I'm with her. I'm with Audra. I hate it. I think gifts are
I know.
stupid.
You know what? I do too, because if I'm going to buy something, I'm probably going to buy it myself. Okay, so let me tell you something out there. Gift receiving Grinches. Let me buy you something. All right, I do the work. I go to Amazon and put a bunch of crap I don't want on wish list.
Sure.
so that you'll have something. So when I open it up, you can see my face of like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, you're doing them you're giving them a service, really, is what you're doing.
You unlocked it. Yeah, you unlocked it. You unlocked my joy. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. You found my wish list and you bought me the top item.
You found my wish list, and that's why I'm making a wish list. I mean, I can't just go get me this. I go, here's a pile of things, pick one, and let's see if you got it right. Let's see if you nailed it.
Yeah, let's see what kind of skills you have at finding my wish list and buying things in it. That's fantastic.
Let's see if you put the effort into it, right?
I love it. I do want that keyboard though, and I'm annoyed that I don't have it. So we'll see. Well, let's take a dive into the game we're talking about this week. As we mentioned earlier, it's MediEvil, and we have lots to say.
Shall we play a game?
We will indeed. Does this sound familiar?
In a time long ago, there lived in the kingdom of Gallomere a sorcerer named Zarok. This arrogant, pitiless man hated his fellow citizens for their simple and peaceful ways.
That is some serious 90s, hey, guy down the hall in the mailroom, can you come narrate our video game for us kind of vibe going on there? Totally fine.
Absolutely love it.
That's totally fine. That's how things were back
There's something about this particular type of voice narration that really hits me in the Christmas and holiday feels. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I played more. I think maybe I got more longer adventure games at Christmas time because I had an expectation that I would be off during that time, and I wanted a role-playing game. And lots of times during this time period, they would give you those long narrations of somebody in some room with an echo filter, and acting subdued almost. It is something just so peaceful about that whole delivery that works for me, and so it landed right on me.
Well, good.
Holiday
I'm
feels.
glad, because this game starts with it and is not afraid to flaunt it. This game is interesting. I played some back in the day, and when I did, I thought, this is so great. I can't believe this is on a PlayStation. What a world we live in. This is like 98. I remember saying this.
Yeah.
I played it again this time, and we've had a couple of weeks, Gary, because you were sick. I had some internet issues. Like, we had to push the show. So we've had a little more time with it. I think this might be one of those where I'm really glad this game exists. I think it deserves its place in video game and retro history, but I don't think it holds up very well for me.
Right.
You're a huge fan, according to our notes. You really got sucked in, and I'm curious. I want to hear your take about how you felt about MediEvil after playing it.
All right, so MediEvil. So first of all, you get to play as Sir Daniel Fortesque. I played the demo of this back in the day. I think I got it on one of the PlayStation Magazine disc or something, because I played it, but I didn't play it very deeply. And I remember liking what I saw. Remember, this is still around the Mario 64 era. Mario 64 was just barely out. So having something this kind of, it's not really platformy. There's a little bit of platforming to it, but for the most part, it's hack and slash adventure. But you still get that early 3D feel of, how does this camera work exactly? How do I make my character move in this direction? How do I zoom back far enough to be able to see what the hell I'm doing? Yeah. Lots of environmental puzzles, right?
Because, early days is really the point there. It's like very early. Yeah.
It suffers from all the things you think it would suffer from. But what it manages to do is to have this very fun and light-hearted storytelling mixed in with some not necessarily challenging gameplay, but at least entertaining, right? I mean, trying to figure out, how to get past this one area, how to collect the things you need so you can move to the next area. You got boss fights as you go along. But really where it shines is in the story and the characters. Still a very simple story, in simple characters, but enjoyable nonetheless. Daniel Fortesque, by the way, this all happens during the medieval times,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We haven't talked about Dan, but Dan is dead. If you didn't know, you'll learn this very early on in the game. Don't worry. You're playing as a knight who's been resurrected, right? So you had killed the bad guy. I forget how many years, like 100 years earlier. In Gallamere, was it Gallamere? I believe it is.
Gallamere, yeah. It's almost
yeah.
like
In the Gallamere.
Halloween, like Halloween, but it's
Right.
definitely got a Halloween vibe to it.
It's definitely so. Zarok, who is the evil,
Yeah.
he's the heavy.
Yeah.
Your first encounter when you were still alive went horribly wrong.
Yeah.
And you find this out pretty early on. You get basically you're leading the king's army against Zarok, who is bad, right? And
look at his name.
right
Zarok
away.
just sounds like a bad
He's
name.
He's obviously bad.
Yeah.
The funny is that you die. You're the first person who dies in battle. You actually get shot in the eye. You're the first one to die. And so when you're resurrected, it's all about redemption, trying to become actually a good knight.
Mhm.
Because when you were alive, you failed miserably. And yet, only because of your death were you able to get out of the way so that the people could actually defeat the bad guy.
Mm.
So in other words, you were the problem when you were alive, but now you're dead. You've been resurrected by the same Zarok who has returned and is wreaking havoc, bringing the dead back to life. And so you got to redeem yourself. And it's a lot of fun traveling through, learning little pieces about the characters, and just having fun along the way. A lot of good little subtle humor in this game.
I would go. You know what? It deserves credit for the writing. I agree. I think that's maybe its greatest contribution, because the actual gameplay is serviceable. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call it like groundbreaking, even though you're right. We're only 2 years into what 3D is, and nobody knows what the hell they're doing with it, really. So it's admirable in that way. But it does this trick. Excuse me, I'm getting that cold you had.
Oh no, don't get it.
It's just starting. Hopefully it doesn't go too bad, but I can feel it in my throat. It's not fun.
That's fine. You'll have more time to play MediEvil.
Yeah, see? I got my whole weekend planned out. What was I going to say? I was going to say that they do this trick where instead of having a free-floating camera or a camera you control, which Mario 64 definitely tried harder to do that, this game has ideas about that. It's like, all right, when you run into a place, it's pretty freeform, but if you get into that corner, we're going to control that camera and bring it over here and kind of lock it so that you're not clipping into walls and stuff. That took a little getting used to for me, because clearly later we would forego that solution for better, a second stick, better camera control.
Right.
And that's better, and we're in a better place now. But back then, I guess it was a reasonable way to do it. So I have to admire it on that level. I admire it on the writing level. And I also think it is not as ugly as some early PS1 games.
Right.
I think there's some meat on those bones. I just think that the gameplay is the least holding up part of it. And that's just, I think that's a passage of time problem. Because I don't have a ton of nostalgia for the game and its prime, it's hard for me to let some of that go. So I think that's my
compare these controls. So you're right. It's kind of in the MediEvil middle of these types of games, because we're still trying to figure it out. Compare this to the tank controls of Tomb Raider, a game that's appear to this game.
Mm-hmm.
I think this game actually plays pretty good, but you're right. There's lots of times when I feel like I'm like a little bit stuck in a corner, but we're kind of lucky that we got what we did, because originally the game was going to be more like a rail. So you're going to be like, you're going to have to walk through a path, and you do this a little bit early in some of the early levels. You'll be you're kind of corralled between in a graveyard where you have to go in one little small narrow path, and it doesn't feel very open world. They open that up a little bit later with some of the levels. Still not super open world, but open worldish. It reminds me a lot of was it Ghosts and Goblins?
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
remember how kind of
Similar vibe.
even though that was side scrolling, it
Mhm.
had that because it was inspired by that, right? It was inspired by those types of games.
Sure.
And as I referenced in my intro, Nightmare Before Christmas, like a lot of the buildings are more of that
It's
what is
very Halloween
German
town.
impressionism. It's how
Yeah.
it's that those weird angles on buildings and things, and the perspective feels a little bit off, but you're supposed to because you're kind of like in the perspective of playing the dead guy, right? Everything's
Mhm.
supposed to be kind of cattywampus.
Yeah, that's
And
the idea, I think.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
And so
I think
was
it does a good job of that. Like I say, I don't
Mhm.
want to besmirch the gameplay too much because again, it's a thing of its time, like all our retro games are. It's just that some stuff holds up better than other
Right.
things. And this is one that if you said, well, this is a new game today, even with like a way prettier treatment, I'm actually going to argue that the reason people were so sour on the remaster was because the remaster didn't play much different. And I think that hurt it. I think that's
Right.
the problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about the remaster. Was it 2017, 2019? I believe it was. There was a lot of missteps in how there's actually a clamoring for the character
Mhm.
and the idea of MediEvil because it's a fun character. I mean, he's a skeletal knight and he's only got one eye, and because it got poked out with the arrow in life, so in death he's only got one eye. And there's actually a little side story they had talked about, but having a side character that was a worm that was actually in one of your eyes, and you
Jeez.
could control him, but they didn't get that far in it. Anyway,
It's like Sammy
the
Davis
charming part
Jr.
about
He
this-
only had one eye too,
Yeah.
Sammy Davis Jr. did.
yeah, with a worm in it
Yeah,
instead.
that's what I heard.
But yeah, yeah. But where was I going with that?
I don't know. I didn't mean to
I forget
interrupt.
where I was going. But this came from Sony because they had purchased the studio who was working on this, and they set them up as the SCE Cambridge studio, which gave a little life to this floundering small gaming studio that was it was trying to do something, and they come up and made this great game that was early title for the PlayStation,
Mhm.
which really helped flesh out the library, and it really gave it a unique take. And I think one of the things that survives about this game is early 3D games had glitches in them,
Yeah.
and we would see them as bad things. But now you can exploit those things in speed runs. And MediEvil is one of those games that is a really fun speed run.
Yeah.
So I think if you were kind of back away from what was being served
Mm.
on this game, but looked at it as a challenge and going, okay, I see the end game challenges, but what if I made the challenge this? And that's part of speedrunning.
Yeah. Yeah.
It becomes a lot more
it's
fun.
the whole point of
I tried a little bit
speedrunning.
of
Sure.
speedrunning on this.
Yeah.
I'm no good.
How'd you
But,
do? You know how far
yeah.
did you get? Did you break any records? Old ones?
No, be for real.
Yeah.
Be for real. But I did watch a whole bunch of speedrun videos, and I was like, oh, let me see if I can try that technique, because a lot of it works, because a lot of the game can be, there is a lot of, you can't go to this stage or this area or fight this boss
Mhm.
until you've done, collected this or that. But it's all pretty straightforward. And since the levels are, you can memorize them pretty quick. It's not that big because it is PlayStation 1, right? You're looking at the 0% runs on these things.
I'm gonna see how this
So,
guy did this. So this is the current leader. 19 minutes,
Yeah.
29 seconds. Noob Killer Roof is his name.
Noob Killer Roof.
1 month ago, actually, just achieved this. And,
Nice.
Let's see, PlayStation 1 US. 1 month ago, first rank. Yeah, this is top rank. So this guy went. I don't know how quick. One of the tricks with modern, well, not modern games, but games since like the mid '90s, is
Right.
getting through text dialogue boxes as fast as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Because that's as
And they-
important thing, right? Because they don't. It's not like they
Yeah.
give you seconds back for that shit. You have to get through it and beat the
Yeah.
game. So it always blows my mind. But anyway,
And they used to, and if you're not familiar with speed running, there used to be, they used to handle it a lot different for certain games. Like you would trim those numbers off. Like if you had to go through like text or whatever, they would trim those numbers off from the final total. I think they do it a little bit different now, but people have figured it out. This guy's killing it.
yeah, whatever he's doing right here, this
I
is some
can't do
kind
this.
of like trickery, some kind of
Like
weird.
it's glitching, right? It's like you figure out, you build, what you do is you watch other people who have set the record, you
Yeah.
go through everything,
Yeah.
and then you find a glitch, or or change what there are, or find a new way to exploit the glitch that already exists, so that you can shave just a little bit of time off, and
That's what he
and
did.
it's a really fun game that way.
He's at he's at
Yeah.
1929. The guy right behind him, Nazarene, in second place.
Right.
Is 19 minutes 50 seconds. I mean, you're only talking about 20 seconds difference.
Nice.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love
But I'm telling you-
watching this stuff. I'm a huge fan of
Yeah.
speedrunning. I can't do it myself though. F that. I'm not doing that.
Some things I've watched people do speed runs, especially. I'm not a big fan of platform speed runs because if I lose my footing
Mhm.
on a platform game, I'll just get totally out of sync and I'll never be able to recover at all.
Yeah.
It just seems so unforgiving, and it's just so, I don't know. But with these 3D kind of games, I feel like there's a lot more room for me to make little micro mistakes. Just like,
Yeah.
it's fine. I may have stepped a foot too far out that way, but it's gonna be fine. I'm still gonna be able to get through this. And something about it being 3D helps me remember the things coming up better for some reason. Like platforming games, I can like almost zone out sometimes. I'm like, I don't even know what the freaking part of the platform I'm in. I've totally gotten disconnected.
Yeah.
But
I think that
yeah,
depends on your brain. Like I
it's
have the
really
opposite problem. I do better with 2D memory than I do 3D
Right.
memory. 3D memory, I get all turned around.
Interesting.
Like, where the hell did I go? What's this place? That hallway?
Right.
Wait a minute. What? I do this in real life. Like I'll go downtown and be
Right.
like, hey, Scott, the dentist is over there. And I'll go, all right, I'll drive 6 blocks wrong and go, wait, what? Like I'm terrible at it. It's just not good for
Yeah.
me. And I think it just depends on who you are. Real quick, they're all chalice runs on here. But so there's 3 versions. There's in the speedrun category. There's any no DGS, and then there's all chalice.
Yes.
And all chalice is in this game getting all the chalices. It's all the collectibles.
Oh.
And the Nazareno guy that took second before, he's in first here.
Right.
2 years
Nice.
ago, still holds the record at 1 hour, 19 minutes, 49 seconds. That noob killer roof guy, who's fourth in this case, an hour 28. So a little bit of rivalry going on here between our top 2.
Right. The chalice definitely would introduces a wrinkle in the game, because to fill the chalice, you have to kill. I want to say 100% on each of the levels to be able to fill the chalice, because the chalice gives you the chance to go to the Hall of Heroes. The Hall of Heroes gives you an opportunity to get upgrades, get weapon upgrades. So it's all it's all stacked together. So as just a regular gamer, I'm always trying to fill the chalice, kill everything, hack and slash, fill it up, go find a chalice, pick it up, get to go to the Hall of Heroes, and get the hammer so you can start bringing that down, because there's some weapons that really piss you off. Like there's a club you get early on, which you can use to to light stuff with, but it also it's a destructible weapon. So you hit so many times it blows up, and you're like, shoot. But if you get the hammer, you could bring the hammer down all day, baby.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you're saying you're a chalice, you're a chalice half full kind of guy, not chalice half empty. That's what you're saying.
I can't think. I don't think I missed any levels. I think every level that I would not leave the stage until I filled the chalice. I don't think I skipped any.
Good
because
Lord.
I wanted to get back to the Hall of Heroes, because it's a lot of fun, because you get to meet all of these old characters. Matter of fact, you start off with this. It's kind of like Crash Bandicoot, another game kind of from this area. You mess with, what's his name? Tiki. He's like a tiki god. You talk to.
yeah.
Oh my god, why am I forgetting his name? Anyway, he's got that whole tiki
Oobada-ba,
talk thing that
oobada-ba
he
guy
does.
or whatever he does.
Yeah. So here we have kind of like almost the like the doorknob guys from is it Labyrinth or something? Yeah, like you talk to these gargoyles or doorknob looking things that are on the wall, and they insult you with their British humor, right? They kind of expand on the story and stuff, and so you get rewarded for exploration in this game is what I'm trying to basically get to, and I enjoy doing that. I didn't really realize I could detach my arm for a little while, because you get that first club so fast.
Yeah.
When you're playing this, like when you first start, it's like you walk out and you grab a club, and you don't even realize you can, change to your arm. You can pull your arm off and chuck it at somebody.
Yep.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I like that part.
It's a good time.
Maybe I'm overselling it. It's a good thing that we have two different takes on this game because I'm like way overselling it and Scott's keeping it real. He's
think
like, but Brian,
I don't know if I'm keeping it real as much as I mean, I should also, I'm losing my voice. I should also mention this. I've been on a tear lately. It's partly your fault.
yeah.
But I've been playing
Oh, no.
3D, sorry, what am I trying to say? 3D collectathon sort of Banjo-Kazooie style games like crazy.
Yes, those are good.
So I played a bunch of, I didn't finish Psychonauts 2, so I'm playing a fresh run through of that.
Oh, that's a good one.
The Spyro collection, the newer version of that, Reignited or whatever.
It is. Yeah,
Playing
we
that.
need to do a Spyro episode too. Yeah, that's one of the ones I've been loving.
Been playing the hell out of that.
Mhm.
I just kind of got down this road of playing a lot of these things. And so because I'm doing that and I'm playing a lot of newer ones with really smart design decisions that are iterated upon for 25 years,
Right.
it's not really fair to compare them. But yet here I am trying to play MediEvil and go and clear my head and say, all right, forget about all the other 3D platformer classics you've been playing. Now play this and pretend you've never played one. And it's a little hard to
You're
accept
right.
it. You know what I mean? So I think it's a me
You're
thing. It's a me
absolutely
thing.
right.
It's not a you thing. It's not a them thing. It's a me thing.
No, and it's not even a you thing. I talk to friends all the time who have not been. So I'm deep into the retro gaming scene, right? So I've developed the ability to kind of appreciate the things because I remember when I first started the journey on doing the retro gaming stuff, I went back and played some Atari games. I'm just like everybody else who revisit the Atari 2600 games. You play them, you're like, this is crap. This is worth about 2 minutes of fun, and I'm out.
Yeah.
And as you go along, as you kind of deconstruct gaming, as you go back through the history of playing older games, they become more and more enjoyable some way. I don't know how, because my friend who we grew up together playing these systems, he got very excited when he saw Atari, the new Atari, selling the 2600 Plus, which is the one that allows you to plug in real carts into a modern Atari 2600. So you don't have to worry about finding one that's functional. You can just buy one.
Yeah.
And, but then he tempered it very quickly and said, nah, I'm not doing it. He's like, those games weren't fun. And I'm like, but Pitfall was. I mean, not all the Atari games. There's a reason why we had a video game crash, and it's because there was a lot of bad games. But
a lot of shovelware.
There are a lot
of
a lot of shovelware. But there's some gems out there, and I think MediEvil is one of them. And it's really important, especially with the PlayStation, because of, I'm not sure if it's the first, but it's one of the first games that made use of the DualShock controller, because it just came out. They were developing it.
Yeah.
The studio got the team who developed MediEvil. They got an early prototype of the DualShock because they had seen the new Mario stuff, and you're like, well, how do we do this with a D-pad and a couple of face buttons and some. Yeah. We need something. We need something. And so they got their early prototype of the DualShock, and they're like, oh, this is easy. Yeah. And so and I think they did considering that they were just building this, had no other thing really to pull from. And they made this game.
The downside of the DualShock was that it was an added accessory. It wasn't packed with the games, or didn't come with your PlayStation.
Yeah.
And so you always are going to have, you're never going to have a 1-to-1 ownership ratio of the DualShock. So when games would come out, the extra development time to support the thing, they had to balance that with, well, what's the percentage of homes that even have the damn thing? And that's always frustrating. From then forward, when you got to PS2 and forward, everybody had dual sticks, right? Like, just became the standard. So it's never been an issue since. But up till then, they had to get weird and creative. PSP, on the other hand, this is Sony, who's already learned the lesson, and they still make the PSP and say, well, what if we just have one little thumb disky thing over here? No. And we don't have another one. And so all our 3D games have to be rethought and play like a PS1 again. Really bad decision. That was really, really poor.
We need to talk about this one day too. I don't want to get too far off MediEvil, but the corporate culture of the different companies, the big ones like, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, Sega, they all have these different corporate cultures that seem to like never change.
Mm-hmm.
Even when they have new presidents and stuff, they may make minor changes, but the overall culture seems to be of a specific type. And PlayStation and Sony has always struck me as a little bit conservative and not really wanting to go. They're like, they'll try some things, but they're like, they just don't seem to have full confidence in anything they put out. Like Nintendo will come out and go, we're doing a Wii. And we're like, what? And they go, yep, that's right.
Yep.
We're doing the Wii.
Doing
What's
a
it going to have?
Wii.
Motion controllers? Yeah. Everything.
Yep.
Everything's motion controls.
Yep.
That's right.
That was pretty wild that day. I remember.
Right.
I'll never forget it. It was a
Sony's
weird,
always
weird
like-
day in games. Everybody said, "Wait, I'm sorry. What's the name of this thing?" It's Wii. How's that spelled?
Yeah.
WII.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
And it does what now?
Alright.
It's not like a normal controller. No, it's like these sticks. See, and you move them, and yeah, that was a that was a weird time. And then also people are like, "Oh, what's it like under the hood?" And they're like, "Well, it's basically it's a GameCube."
Right. We made this really cool thing, but yeah, it looks all right.
Enjoy.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Right. But
Just-
Sony's always been kind of like that. Even with the DualShock, they were kind of like, what you think? We saw Nintendo is making one of these. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
And with the VR stuff too, their VR stuff it always shocks me every time I see a new Sony VR things. I'm like, they just never seem super excited about it. The only time they ever seemed excited was when they came out with the first PlayStation. They told them how much it was going to be.
Right.
And they were like $299. They walked off and it was like, mic drop.
Yeah. It sounds
That's the attitude.
sounds
you need
about
to have.
right. Wait, that was
Right.
wasn't that that was a PS4 announcement, right?
No, PS1 when they come out and they did the mic drop with the price on it. Like what
Did they?
Sega was like, we got the Saturn, and it's like, yeah, and then Microsoft, I mean not Microsoft, Sony comes out and says, what's it say, $299? That's all they said, and they just walked off.
I thought that was when I thought that was that had to have been PS. Are you sure that wasn't PS4 and Xbox One? Because it was $399.
I don't think so. Did they do it too? Did they come out during that? I don't remember that one.
Well, because Microsoft had said, but I can't. Shit, I don't remember. There's the console wars are a nasty thing, right? You can't remember which one's what and how it all worked out. By the way, if you had to guess before I leave this website, you have to guess how long did it take the fastest run through the N64 version of Donkey Kong 64 to beat in 1999. Guy did it 7 months ago.
gosh.
Guess how short a time he spends in that game to speedrun it.
DK64. How long? I want to say in 7 minutes and 20 seconds.
It's higher than that, but 25:43.
really? Okay.
25:43. That's crazy to me.
Wow, that is crazy. See, I was saying something even crazier because I thought, well, he's made a point that this is crazy numbers, so it must be some super glitch. But yeah, that makes sense. That is crazy though.
Those are
'cause that's
massive
a pretty big adventure.
game. Yeah, that's a huge game.
Yeah.
If I remember right, it's been a while.
Mhm.
I think it was fun.
Let's see. We should challenge ourselves for 2025. We should challenge ourselves to complete a game as fast as possible.
All right.
We should find a speed run and see if we can. Let's see if we can get in the top 1,000 speedrunners.
I'll bet we'll have a hard time even doing that. That's how bad we'll be at it. I mean, I don't want to say for sure that we would be that bad, but I think we'd be pretty bad. But I would try it.
We would be. I would not be good. I would try.
Yeah.
I would. So if you're listening, to give us something reasonable. Give us the easiest speed run that you can think of, and we'll see if we can at least be top 1,000.
Yeah.
That's still high though. Out of the whole world,
That's high.
that's still high.
It's too high.
I was talking to another gamer this past week, and she was all like, she was talking about the game she was playing, and she was talking about when Mario Kart went online. She said that she was used to playing at home with the kids and just dominating
Yeah, of course.
Mario Kart.
Take that.
And
kids.
so she said that she would get online, and it was just embarrassing. Couldn't even crack like the top 100,000 or something. So I'm like, that's how it is, man.
Yep.
You at home beating up on your kids.
Yeah. You
No
think
problem.
you're good. You're not that good.
Yeah.
Well, this
Yeah,
game was
and it's
successful
probably the
enough.
same age kids.
This game was successful enough that it
Yeah.
spawned a sequel, MediEvil 2,
Yeah, it
2000, PlayStation again. And this time you're set in Victorian London. Dan is resurrected once again. Stop another villainous plot, this time involving the nefarious Lord Palethorn.
Palethorn.
What do you think of that name?
If
That's
you-
pretty intense. Palethorn.
If you like the first one,
Yeah.
you're gonna like this one because it is pretty much the same game. But it controls better. They did improvements. The stages or levels were a little bit larger. By the way, each of these stages and levels are really it's pretty cool because you have an overworld map and it looks like an overworld map. You know, it's got like little medieval looking buildings, and you progress to each little area, and it almost feels like an unlockable. And I really dug it. But they just added more to it in this part two. They expanded on the story, the history. They moved forward to like what 600 years, I believe it is.
Yeah.
Is that right? Something like that.
Big chunk of time.
So much further in the future. Yeah, Jack the Ripper was a component at this point in time.
Yeah.
They improved the weapons. So before you would just essentially have one weapon, but now you have kind of almost like an offhand weapon where you can switch between two. You can assign a weapon, and then
You can
switch between it quickly while you're
pistola
fighting.
with the one hand, and then when he gets close, you can sword him with
Right.
the other one. Yeah, it's kind of dual wield thing.
Yeah.
It
Almost a
also
dual wield.
they also brought that camera way closer. Like this boss fight's not a good example, but when you're just running around, that camera's way
Yeah.
closer on your dude than it used to be.
Oh yeah, they definitely improved upon all that. They learned from the first one, and they came back and made it a little bit better. And also, we didn't talk about the music from the first one, but the music is fantastic in both of these. They wanted to go with an orchestra type of music.
Yeah.
They didn't have the budget, but they did bring in Bob and Barn. Those guys are fun.
Oh, Bob and Barn. Yeah.
Bob and Barn have actually been like the one through line throughout. They seem to always return to create better and better music. They had this vision of this orchestral type of music, and each time they got a little bit better, and it did here as well. They did a lot of sampling for this second one, but it's it really elevates it. It makes it feel like the period appropriate time that it's in.
Wasn't there a PS2 MediEvil as well, or am I thinking of? Is that not the case?
You're not wrong, because there's been several false starts in MediEvil, and there was a PlayStation 2 prototype that essentially made it a certain amount of the way. There's so much information on the internet about MediEvil series, because there's so many people who really just absolutely love this story.
Yeah.
And the characters, and they made a really long way into a PS2 version, and then it kind of fell apart. And then they took a lot of those ideas, and not quite retro according to the Play Retro playbook, but it will be next year. In 2005, we had a PSP MediEvil Resurrection developed partially based on that prototype that the ideas and stuff that they did on the PS2 version.
Yeah.
They implemented that into the PSP version.
Yeah,
Which
that's a better.
I played some. Did you get to play any of that?
I didn't play any of it.
Resurrection?
I watched a bunch of video of it. I think it looks really good. I mean, it's a huge improvement visually, as you might
Right.
expect on a that device was more powerful than a PS1, certainly.
Yeah, I mean, you're going from the year 2000 to the year 2005. You go from the PlayStation. That was a little later in the life of the PlayStation in 2000. So the PSP comes out. It's pretty sexy hardware, man.
Yeah,
More aligned to the PS2.
Loved my
Yeah.
my PSP, except for that. Except for the lack of an extra stick, dumbasses. It was so dumb.
They'll never need two sticks, even though we've had two sticks in every one of our systems, and we're going to port over a bunch of games. But still, why would they need two sticks?
And now you got to come up with another way to move your camera around. F that. Such a mistake. Anyway.
It was a real big mistake. But yeah, so if you enjoyed the first one, there's more story to eat. That's really the big deal about two. Nothing really groundbreaking on how the game plays. If you knew how the game played the first time, you'll like how this one plays. It is quality of life improvements, but essentially just a continuation of the characters that you already loved.
Yeah.
And I would suggest that. I played Resurrection, a little bit of it. I didn't get too far into it, but it's a remake of the original games. And so it's really more, it falls in the line of remaster, because they took a bunch of story things out. They added story points. So it's not like a real remake or remaster. It's kind of like somewhere in between. I actually thought that it kind of lost a little something.
I think it definitely does. But again, I think it's because it's graphically way better. Okay.
Oh,
like
yeah.
massively better. Here's some video now if you're watching. And it's the same gameplay. So they didn't tweak. Sometimes what you have to do with these games is you can't just pretty them up. Spyro's a good example. The
Right.
Reignited trilogy did way more than just make it look pretty. They tightened up controls. They simplified a couple of things. Tweaked some problems that existed in the world prior to the release of the thing. Like just a little bit of housekeeping, and you could have gone a long way with this remake, I think. So I don't know. Kind of bums me out that it was received not poorly. It wasn't like garbage. It was just not, nobody was into it. So it's
I think
unfortunate.
the biggest problem that they're having with trying to make another one of these is the emotional connection that I made with the first and second one, of this constant ribbing that the game gives the hero, who is you. You've poured yourself into this hero, and it's a redemption story, and that's where this game just really shines. And I think when you focus too much on the hack and slash or the, you know, I think it kind of makes it plummet a little bit. You're moving a little too fast. You're not getting to really enjoy the storytelling, which once again, not very advanced, but it's a unique take. I mean, how do you get a chance to play a character who, basically failed at life and is pretty much a loser?
Yeah.
But here you are trying to be a hero.
Sure.
And for some reason that works for me. And I think if they maybe simplified, I don't know, it'd be a real tough thing because it's such a unique thing that happened early on that it's like, okay, we accept that there's ganky gameplay, but that actually gives it a boost because it allows me to focus more on the content. But then being modern gamer, I'd be pissed it has ganky game. Let me compare it to uh was it Bad Neighbor, Good Neighbor, Bad Neighbor? Is that right? Bad Neighbor.
It's the one where the
This
stealthy sneak around the house thing. Is that the one?
The stealthy sneak around the house game that intentionally makes stealth more fun by its horrible physics. In any other game, you'd be pissed that the physics work like they do.
Right.
But the fact that it's a stealth game makes it actually a lot of fun because, in stealth game, it's all about control and there's a little bit of not control in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes everything else just more enjoyable. If you can find that little magic mix,
It's hard. It's hard to do, is what you're saying. It's difficult.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough.
I'm going to recommend this game called Pumpkin Jack on Steam. I played a bunch of this last week, too, as part of my 3D platformer play-a-thon. I had this game for a couple of years already, and I really liked it, but I just hadn't returned to it in a while. And it is a really close analog to what MediEvil is. So if you want a modern version of that kind of game, Pumpkin Jack is that. And if you're worried it's too Halloweenish and you only want to play it in October, don't worry about that. The whole thing, I mean, yes, it's haunted this and he has a pumpkin head and, it's definitely the themes are conducive to Halloween, but they're not required. Yeah. It's just sort of the theme of the thing. It's not like it's a Halloween game.
Yeah.
And this review's really well. We're in the 90s on this thing, 92%. So
yeah, it is the spiritual successor in my opinion to MediEvil. So if you're looking for that, but Chris Sorrell and Jason Wilson of the original MediEvil games, they can't ever seem to get fully back involved with the series. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember who holds the rights, and
probably Sony, right?
In what order? Who gets to make the decision? Because lots of times it's like, well, some companies have ownership of the IP, and then another company may have the ownership of of the copy. So there's always like this balance of you got to have just the right people, had just the right ownership to make development and producing and distribution, and you got to have all of that just to make it work. And I don't know where it sits at right now, other than that we saw in 2017 they did that little thing there they did in 2017.
Well, Sony owns the rights to the IP, whether or not
is all the way the IP.
Yeah. So whatever happens with it, whoever gets hired to work on it, they control that. So it'd be up to Sony to do something around it, I suppose.
Come on, Sony, get with it, because I love this character.
You had a good time, man.
Dan the Dead.
Yeah. You had a good time.
Dan the Dead is my man.
You humped his leg for hours. Just kidding.
I chucked his arm.
Yeah.
And I think in the part 2, that one thing they did take away though from part 2, I don't think they had the Hall of Heroes, if I remember correctly. I don't think they did, which is really disappointing because I really enjoyed that little, get the chalice and
Yeah,
collect
a little
so
extra
many of the
challenge.
souls and
Yeah, a little more challenge.
yeah. But I did like they did finally get to do to visit the ideas of what they were wanting to do, like these kind of mini games where you control Dan's head and he's on like one of the hands.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
when you're playing this game, there's always zombies and there's always like little hands running around, even in the first one. And kind of like what the thing from Addams Family.
Sure.
In the first one, you can't really interact with them until you get the hammer, and then you can like start smashing them. In the second one, you can actually detach your you can explore areas using the head on the hand and stuff. So
Yeah.
they did some things there. They finally got around to that. But yeah, if I was starting today, I think I probably would start with 2. I don't think you're gaining a lot from the story from the first one, and the gameplay's a little bit ganky. So unless you're really just a completist like I am, where it's like, oh, I got to play all of it. I gotta understand the inspiration for why they do this in the second one. Unless you're that person, I think just playing the second one would be fun.
Yeah.
I don't think 2017 would be all that fun though.
I agree. I think play the original.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. That's the game. MediEvil. Find it, catch it, play it. In the meantime, we're going to play a game of our own devising. It's called Guess Our Game.
Destroy it.
We take 2 old games and we try to get each other to guess the correct answer. We give 4 possible answers plus the system and its year of release. I'm going to start this week with
Release.
Dreamcast game. You ready for a little Dreamcasty time here? A little bit?
Oh, I am. Dreamcast. What, didn't Dreamcast just turn 30?
Dreamcast came out in
20 no, 30
1999.
No. Okay. What? Oh, I was thinking of the Saturn.
Yeah. So Dreamcast came
I
out in
think.
99. In fact, 9999, if you remember.
9999.
Yep.
I remember. Of course I remember.
Greatest release date of all time. Even better, I think, than 11/11/11 for Skyrim.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? There was a Sonic Monday thing. I can't remember the day for that. Mortal Monday.
yeah.
Remember Mortal Monday?
Mortal Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah. What happened? There was a Japanese release of something that that created riots. Why am I forgetting?
I don't know.
This is the problem with recording this later in the day for me.
Your brain's all spent.
Less sharp.
Yep. That's why I've moved most of my shows
Lost all of it.
I've moved most of my shows to early in the day because I'm brain dead at night. I hate it.
It seems like I know there's a Japanese release story. They had to stop releasing things on certain days because there was a big deal. And why can't I think of it? It wasn't Pokemon anyway. We'll come back to it.
Well,
Anyway,
there's a
you had
reason that
game,
there's like
Sega Dreamcast.
There's like Windows doesn't have version 9. There's no version 9
Right.
of Mac OS. There's no. Oh no, there was an OS 9. Wasn't there? Anyway,
I know what it was.
there's something like
but
that.
I can't remember. Right.
It's some shit like that. I don't know what it is.
Some shit like that.
Brian, here are your options and here's your stuff. Okay. The platform is the Sega Dreamcast, as mentioned earlier. The year is 2000, 24 years ago. All right. Almost 25 years ago. The game sounds like this.
Got a minute?
Huh? Get out of my space, schoolboy!
Excuse me.
Huh? Who the hell you think you are?
Excuse me.
Oh, no. I just can't now. This weird coat.
What kind of coat?
It was a deep green.
So anyway, darn cold today, isn't it?
There is a lot of fake stuff circulating these days, but we only stock the real thing.
Do you know of any places where sailors hang out?
I don't imagine they'd be here. Probably the red light district, eh?
Yeah, see? I played the whole thing because it's too good not to hear it all.
Oh my God, this is a classic.
It's pretty good stuff. All right, here are your options. This is probably going to be easy, but we'll see how you do. A,
Right.
Grandia 2.
Right.
B,
Right.
Shenmue. C,
Right.
Dragon Quest 9. Or D, Biohazard Code Veronica. Which of those games?
I'm pretty sure it's Biohazard Code. No, I'm just kidding. So I've actually been playing a little bit. Is John, is he a big fan of this game?
I don't think. Well, I don't know. Actually, I don't think we've ever talked about it. Possibly.
Well, I don't think it's Grandia 2.
Okay.
I know it's not Biohazard Code Veronica, even though that's an amazing Dreamcast game.
Yeah.
Dragon Quest reminds me that I think that was one that it was Dragon. Was it the one I was trying to figure out about the riot and stuff? Because when I saw that, it's Dragon. It's not Dragon Quest. Anyway, I'm pretty sure the answer is a Shenmue. The answer is B,
Shenmue?
Scott.
Let's see if it is. You are correct. That is the correct answer. There are a lot of snarky response people in that game, and all you have to do is just say, "Excuse me," and they'll go, "F off, dirtball!" Like they're just angry all the time.
I'm looking forward to doing. I want to do a Shenmue episode.
Oh,
we just
gosh.
haven't gotten to. It's one of those games where it's like, oh, I really want to do that, but I really want to have like 2 weeks to really do something good.
It's
because
pretty beefy.
It's such a deep. It's pretty deep. It's a deep dive.
It's beefy for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
Well
beefy.
done. You got that right
beefy.
away. Tell me your platform and your thing before I play the sound. What do you got?
All right. So, like we said, I was sick last week, and I almost forgot what I had picked, but I think I remember now. Okay. So the platform is arcade, and the year was 1994.
Here we go. This is really familiar to me. Has the chat got it?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Oh, I don't know. So here we go. Here are your options. Is it A, Revolution X, B, Virtua Cop, C, Point Blank, or D, Fast Draw Showdown?
Fast Draw Showdown?
Fast Draw Showdown. And those are all arcade games from 1994, believe it or not. Once again, Revolution X, Virtua Cop, Point Blank, Fast Draw Showdown. And I'm hoping maybe the music might have given you a clue.
All right. It's not Fast Draw Showdown. Even the way you said it sounded like you weren't certain it even exists.
Fast Draw Showdown.
Point Blank? No. Virtua Cop I played to death at home and in the arcade. I don't think that's it. I would notice it. Reload.
Right.
He's constantly saying that.
Reload.
So this has got to be that thing with Steven Tyler in the band. The Revolution X game.
That's what you're hearing right now. Burp, burp. Is that some Aerosmith?
Yeah.
Yeah. Midway brought us Revolution X, that gallery shooter type of game, but with sexy ladies in a bathroom for some reason.
Yep.
And you had to shoot the screen and rock out, but you get to hold that big old that gun.
Yeah. No, it was actually really fun. I remember that game being a good time.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find the cover of this thing so the chat can see it. This is pretty great. Yeah, there we go. So this was an official deal.
I miss these kind of games.
This is an official deal they did with the band. There it is.
Yeah.
Now it's up to you, says the tagline.
Now it's up to you.
Music is the weapon. Yeah. It's real stupid, but I respect it.
Revolution X should have given it away, though. Revolution X.
I just liked everything they were doing. Midway was doing back then. They were crazy.
Yeah, it was so good.
Who's
Look at Tyler. Look at
Tyler
back there.
He looks like his daughter hiding back there. What's going on?
I don't know what he's doing back there. I love it though.
Yeah,
I love it. It's 100%.
I only know these two. The rest of these
Aerosmith
guys.
just occasionally shows up at the arcade, either in pinball form or arcade shoot 'em up. I don't know what their deal is, but it's always welcome.
Do you remember
that
that Journey game? Do you remember that thing?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Journey video game.
What's the equivalent of that nowadays, I wonder? Is there anything like, well, I mean, I guess people showing up in Fortnite, I guess, is kind of
sort of
these modern
but they don't. This is different
up.
because it's like we made an entire game about Journey the band or whatever, right? Not the cool Journey from the PlayStation 3. We're not talking about that Journey. This is a Journey
independent spectacular video game. No.
What was this called? It had a name. Yeah, Journey. It was just called Journey.
Just call it Journey. That's the confusing part.
1983. Let's see. Here we go. Action arcade game by Bally Midway in 83. Rock band Journey had enjoyed major success in the 80s. Bally Midway decided to ride this wave of popularity by creating an arcade game based on the group. Its release was intended to coincide with a U.S. tour by the band. This included everybody in the band: Steve Perry, Neil Sean, Steve Smith, Jonathan Kane, and Ross Valerie were all featured in there. 8-position joystick and a button. I remember playing the shit out of the stupid effing game.
Well, we definitely need to visit this game at some point in time. It is it's a wonder.
We could probably do a couple of
oh man, I mean there's so many great about Midway doing all these amazing crossovers.
Yep.
You know what we need to bring your musical band to the arcade. Come on.
Get that going, boys.
Get that going. So yeah, Revolution X. Is there anything more 1994 sounding?
Oh my gosh,
Revolution
dude.
X?
It's the most 94 sounding thing you've ever said in your life. Here, look at it. I'm just going to put this. Let me show this image. This is a screen. I mean, look at how 94 that is.
Yeah, oh my gosh. And you got the video girl dancers in here. You got posters in the background of, I mean, come on.
I think that's Steve Perry on a mic in that poster. Exactly.
Probably is.
These guys you're fighting are like shirtless with armbands and helmets. Like, it's just so stupid. I love it.
And it's partially like what that mocap kind of thing they did for Mortal Kombat and that kind of stuff. It was that of that era.
Definitely that style. And I remember all the magazines. Oh yeah, here's one of the ads. They all look like this. So you'd open up your Game Pro and you get an ad like this. I don't know who this girl was, but there she is, ready to roll.
She's the girl.
She's the girl.
She's the nondescript girl. That's a 31-inch game. Oh, what was the two sizes they had? 31-inch and what?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Steven Tyler confers on direction with designer during game videotaping process at Midway Studios.
Yep. This is when they kept doing mocap.
Yep.
Yeah, there they are. Look at them dancing. Oh, this is so stupid.
Dancing?
This is so stupid.
But I would not have it. It needs to exist.
No, I don't want it any other way. This is why we love the shit we cover, because there's so much dumb around it. I love it. Right. All right, well done. Brian wins. I win. Everyone wins.
We win. Woo!
Well done. I want to welcome to Retro a very cool game. Sid Meier's Pirates, November 22nd, 2004. That game deserves an episode, don't you think? It's real good.
Oh, absolutely. So this is not the original Pirates you may have remembered on your 8-bit computer. This is the later Pirates that was a remake, but even the remakes are making it to Retro now. This was originally going to be posted about a week ago, so November the 22nd was relevant. There may be something else getting here this week by what, 12/6, December the
Probably.
6th?
Although the releases would slow down that time of the year, but who knows?
Yeah.
Sid Meier's Pirates,
the
the original 87 game. And then this, I think, deserve an episode. We should be able to talk about both these, I think. You know?
Absolutely. And I was playing Pirates just this past week, the original one that I played, which was on the Apple II GS that a friend of mine had. And he had all of it. He had when you got the Pirates, then you would get the big fold out map. You would get the big book of pirate stuff. And it was an amazing experience. It was so far ahead of other games and game complexity.
Yep. Oh yeah.
All the way from sailing ships and on sea battles and conferring with governors and impressing them so much that you get a chance to talk to their daughters, and based on your reputation would determine how attractive those daughters were. There was a lot of data going on in the background.
That's because you involve this guy. It's because you bring Sid Meier in the room and he makes cool shit.
That's right.
He doesn't know how to make a bad video game. This guy is the best.
Yeah, I was playing the Apple II GS, which is the 16-bit version, but I had also played it on my Commodore 64, which was the 8-bit. Not nearly as nice looking, but still, very playable.
No, I get you.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Civ 7, their next game. Very exciting.
Yes. More pirates, please.
I don't know what he's doing, though, directly these days, right? Sid Meier's not, like, designing anymore, or is he? Let's see.
I don't know. What do you think he's thinking about now? He's going to make a new, but it's going to be about video game pirates.
Well, he's 70 now.
Look.
70 years old. Let's see. Just trying to see what he's doing now. Here we go. Development style, autobiography. Yeah, there's not much in here. He's still over at.
Does he still have a job?
Well, he still has some sway over at Firaxis Games, but I think he's just think he's just
Probably
chilling now.
consultation. He
Yeah.
probably just shows up. What you guys doing? But he's got it. I wonder if his son Ryan. I wonder if he's doing anything.
Well, he worked at Blizzard, for Axis, and now Google. His son Ryan.
Right.
So that's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, I see that. Yeah, go to Moby Games. I love Moby Games, by the way.
Meier lives in Hunt Valley,
Marvel
Maryland.
Midnight Suns.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't think did he work on that directly? Maybe he did.
He was a designer on the Marvel Midnight Suns, but you're right. He did a lot of Diablo stuff, Hearthstone,
Mm-hmm.
Blizzard Development Family. What is that title? Interesting.
I don't know what that is. Something that didn't
Don't
happen is my guess.
Right.
Civ 7 2025. Look forward to it. Ooh. That's going to do it for that. Well done, everybody. We got some listener feedback as well.
Welcome to the treasure room.
Treasure room. Treasure. We got a call from somebody. You want to hear this call?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Here you go. 801-471-0462 is how they did it. And it sounds just a little bit like this.
Hey, you guys, Chuck Byers again, calling about for Play Retro. You haven't even done the show yet for Vector Man, but thanks a lot for giving me a new obsession. This thing is amazing. Been playing it on my Amberneck, and I can't put it down. Very satisfying shooter. Don't forget to shoot the TVs. I'm playing it on lame because the manual says lame is even hard enough for most people. The other two levels are freaking nuts. But I'm really looking forward to you guys talking to it. It's a little bit before the show, but can't wait to see it or listen to it. So thanks. Later. Bye.
So back before you were sick and we had to skip it a week, this would have been a much more prescient episode to play this on. But I'm curious how far Chuck got, what he thought of the episode. Did it live up to your high hopes? Where'd you land on it, buddy? Because now we've got some time has passed.
Well, Chuck was playing it right regardless, playing on the Ambernick, playing it on the lame level. That's why I played it too for the most part.
Oh, yeah.
I creeped it up a little bit a couple of times just to see how hard. It's too hard. I both enjoyed shooting the TVs because I get my power-ups, but I also hated shooting the CRTs because it broke my heart a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's a perfectly good CRT.
I have no shame about doing it on easy. It's not a problem. Especially get older games that were just hard anyway. It's like, man, I don't need that grief in my life. I'm going to do this on easy.
I don't need I mean, it was a direct answer to video game rentals. It wasn't it wasn't like, well, we need them to be harder. No, it was like, we need to be harder so that people can't complete them before the weekend ends so they can purchase them.
That's
I
right.
mean,
Yeah.
I'm not going to play that game. I didn't rent this.
No.
It's like,
Yeah.
I'm here to play it and have fun.
Yeah, I want to enjoy my $40 that I spent.
Right.
Next week, we're going to do Maniac Mansion. Been a long time coming. And why? Because we're celebrating December.
Yeah.
December, get it? DOS Ember, like December, but with DOS. Anyway.
Yes. We're all playing DOS games right now. I am. A lot of people in the community, Tondagosa, who got me into it a little bit last year, and I'm continuing to do that. And I always forget. I'm doing the 12 days of December as well. So I'm trying to play 12 games before Christmas gets here on DOS. And I immediately stumbled because I was like, oh yeah, I didn't do my due diligence and set up my DOS environment.
Yeah.
And every time it's not like playing console games.
No.
You have to configure everything. It's like, oh crap.
It's
unless you get the people always tell me just do the ExoDOS thing and everything. And I'm like, I get it. Yeah. But I don't want to be a cheater.
Part of the fun is the pain in the ass. That's part of the fun.
Yeah.
So,
it's part of the fun, but it is a real time consumer though, for sure.
Yeah.
But part of the fun is getting it to work.
I wish you luck on that effort. I think you're going to do fine.
Wait, are you going to play any DOS games for December?
Oh, I'm going to play
Maniac Mansion.
I'm going to play some Maniac Mansion, but I don't think I'm going to mess. If
I
could play some others, but I'm not doing it your way. I'm going to go and get DOS X or whatever it's called and do it that way.
I'm only committing to one.
Yeah.
The one day of December.
I don't got that kind of time, man. Neither do you, but
No.
you're that kind of guy. No. So you've got this. And I'll be here
That's
cheering
fun,
for you the whole time. I'll be rooting for you, so don't worry about it. You'll do great.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's that. So next week, Maniac Mansion. Get your Maniac Mansion point-and-click adventure on, as we will have ours on. I want to thank some new patrons that joined us since we last spoke. Biff Smith, has joined us. Got a rejoin from Seb. Love seeing Seb again. He was out for a while. Now he's back again. We also got Eric Valdez. All right. Nobody, he didn't explode and dump oil all over a bunch of sea life. It's different Valdez. That's
good
Valdez.
Job.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, good job. We don't have to use any rebranded Dawn dish detergent since they've got the little ducks in the front of their little Dawn dish detergent.
Damn straight. Also, these guys, they may not even know how great this is going to be yet, but they're not going to get any ads or commercials of any type or kind on Patreon. They're going to get pre-show content every week. We did some today. We always do. And other cool monthly benefits. Sometimes we just put random stuff up. Sometimes we watch an X-Men episode. You never know what you're going to get. All right?
Never know what you're going to get.
You just know that you'll get it. Dude. So get in there.
I'm gonna shame us here on the show since I've been sick a couple of times. And we had a hurricane, then I got sick. Is it time for me to commit to a bonus episode like we do for Film Sack and you guys do for Core? Is it time for me to commit to a bonus once a month episode where I just
do it,
take some random crap and do it?
Do it.
All right.
Do it. Tear apart a Commodore 64 and put it in your butt or whatever you want to do.
That's a lot of sharp edges on that thing, Scott. I don't think I want to do that.
Yeah, maybe don't do that.
You ever stuck a 6510 in your crack? That's gonna hurt.
Don't do it. I have an exit only tattoo there. Nothing's allowed down there. Well, anyway, I'm excited to see what comes out of that. But please sign up today at Patreon.com. It sure does. Patreon.com/playretro is the place to go. PlayRetroShow@gmail.com. You can contact us there. Also at 801-471-0462. You can leave us a voicemail like you did today as well. And that's going to do it for us. Frogpants.com/playretro is our website. Brian, anything else you want to add to the pile before we go?
Like I said, I'm playing Dawsember, so Mondays and Wednesdays every week this month, barring some type of hurricane or sickness, I'll be playing DOS games. So tune in 6 p.m. Eastern times for that.
Nice.
Yes, sir. But you're also doing the Monday show. What time is that?
We do that we do it early. It's like at noon my time.
I thought so.
So it's like 2 your time or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of my stuff I do early in the day is whenever possible because I'm too dead brain dead.
That time. The time that I do it on Mondays and Wednesdays is an intentional effort to avoid crossing the streams with any other streamers that are in the network.
Yeah, we're always trying to help each other out. That's what we do.
Yeah.
We're all pals here. All right, that is going to do it for us. Please go play something retro, and we'll see you next time.
Oh, looks like someone just got their ears caught in the audio cookie jar at frogpants.com.
Yeah.